Hi, guys. Welcome back to Reality Rants, where I share all my rants about the reality shows I am watching right now. So far, we have been on Singles Inferno, and we're about to jump into episode 8. But before we do that, real quick, can I get you to please subscribe to my channel? It'll take you 1 second. Show some support, show some love, and let's jump into the episode. So, it's couple matching time, and the four lucky pairs heading to paradise are Ju Young and Yeon Jae, Go Yeon and Yeon Woo, Mina Soo and Sung Il, and Subim and Haesun. I have to give it to Mina Soo. She did exactly what she wanted, regardless of the consequences, by picking Sung Il. But this time around, I think she bit off a little more than she could chew. Of course, with her picking Sung Il, Minji was left without a match, and I guess it had to happen for Sung Il to make up his mind. Sad face. I have to say this again. Sung Il really gives me fuckboy vibes. And in this episode, I got major icks from him as he tried to win Minasu over. I was happy that Hisun was finally going to paradise, but I'm not sure if Subim's intentions are clear, even though they chose each other. I still can't shake the feeling that Subim, is holding on to Hisun just to pay back Minasu for being Minasu. But let's see how this goes. Even though Minasu was on this trip, I still wasn't prepared for the amount of drama that was about to unfold. First off, on the plane ride, Minasu ended up sitting in the middle of Subim and Sung Il and managed to get into a conversation with Subim, and they both completely ignored their dates. Sung Il was irritated and he just decided to be indifferent about it, while my poor Haesun was fighting for her life and doing her best to be part of the conversation. I personally was annoyed. Give my girl a break. Hey. Anyway, the paradise date started with Go Yeon and Yeon Woo. Honestly, I was so happy to find out that I had guessed his job right. I just knew he was into sports of some kind. Turns out, he's a former athlete turned handball coach. But with all that strength and brawn, he really is a gentle giant and he fell so hard for Go Yeon. It was cheesy as hell. But you also know that he just didn't have much experience with women and controlling his infatuation. Aww. He was painfully honest, and at some point it was really embarrassing. But I also found it kind of cute. He's the kind of guy that he will completely be obsessed and adore his partner or his girlfriend in future. But for this show, it didn't really work. By the time him and Go Yeon went for a swim, Yeon Woo was falling apart. When Go Yeon got into the pool with him, he was ready to risk it all for her. I just kept laughing. Even the hosts had the same reaction. Poor guy. He caught the Go Yeon bug. Meanwhile, back on Inferno, Minji was having a really hard time dealing with the fact that Sung Il and Minasu had gone to paradise together. She did her best to act like she was okay, but she wasn't. And I don't blame her. But at the same time, I really do feel like Minji just put all her eggs in one basket. She deserved better. I'm sure Jay Jing was also having a hard time as well, knowing that, Jo Young had gone with Yeon Jae. But as usual, he didn't show much emotion. And he carried it like a quiet king. Although, quite frankly, I felt like he had nothing to worry about. Jo Young only seemed to be curious about Young Jae. And thanks to her, we got to find out what he does for a living. But other than that, Young Jae was just too dull. There was no spark. He didn't do anything new or different. He kept complimenting her. He's a gentleman. Honestly, the date was forgettable at best for me. And I'm going to say this again. Yeon Jae is probably the hottest guy on Inferno, aside Egon, of course. But I think the reason why he didn't resonate with everyone is because he's such a he doesn't have too much of a personality, and if he does, he didn't really show it on the show. He seemed really boring and dad like in the way he approaches things. He's a green flag to me, but I like excitement. Anyway, moving on. Meanwhile, Minasu got to drive Sung Il to their date. But during their lunch, she was so shocked to find out that Sung Il was younger than her, and you could see her disintegrating on the spot. If there's one thing I love about Minasu, she doesn't filter her reactions. I was cracking up as she struggled to regain her composure. One thing I noticed was, unlike with Subim, who she felt was cute regardless of his age, in Sung Il's case, she kind of lost interest almost immediately. Also, she spent the whole time talking about Subim. I don't know how Sung Il put up with it, but hey. Speaking of Subim, he and Haesun had such a sweet date together, and it made me feel a little bit more comfortable about their relationship. It felt like I was watching a rom com with teenagers falling in love. And it was interesting to discover the many layers of Haesun. She was a cheerleader at some point. She's currently an information systems major at Carnegie Mellon University. Yep, you heard that right. Carnegie Mellon. Plus, as at the time of the show, she was interning as a customer relations person at a beauty company. Talk about a humble queen. Beauty and brains. Subin was really impressed, but so was I, because who would have guessed? Personally, she's out of everybody's league, in my opinion. Anyway, Subing and Haesun then went to a bowling alley, and I was having fun watching them be all lovey-dovey. Now tell me why. Production decided to add more drama by bringing Minasu and Sung Il to the same bowling alley. Ay! I was furious because Haesun deserved a fair chance to have Subim to herself for at least a whole day. This was her first time at Paradise. Come on. Honestly, Minasu tried really hard to ruin their date, in my opinion. She couldn't hide her jealousy while they were bowling together. Haesun did her best to mark her territory, but when they all sat down to eat, Minasu was determined to push Subim's buttons. Remember how I said Minasu and Subim's truce wasn't going to last? Well, I was right. Imagine her saying he was her second choice and that she didn't get to have as much fun when they went to Paradise. As a viewer, I felt embarrassed on Subim's behalf. He's a way better person than me because I would have knocked her down a peg or two, but he kept his cool. Girl, what is wrong with you? Look, look. What annoyed me even more was how badly Minasu treated Sung Il throughout. She was dismissive. She kept talking about other guys while she was with him. Then when they got back to their room, she was really rude to him. He didn't deserve that, and I'm happy he gave her a piece of his mind before the night ended. The way he spoke to her, even though he was, calm about it, honestly, I feel like he took one for the team because that's how we were all feeling about Minasu by the end of that evening, honestly. Girl, episode 8 was a whirlwind. The show didn't just lean into the drama, it drowned in it along with Minasu and my brain cells. I need to recover. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. The tea is getting hotter. See you in the next episode.